Hey, everybody, welcome on into this lovely Tuesday night. That's right, guys, we are already in the midst of reprints. That's right, guys. So good news, a little bit of good news coming forward. Now, we don't know quantities, we don't know what is actually going to come out of these for sure, for numbers, but we do know that there are some more reprints because have been announced officially today. Well, I think yesterday. So on Monday, we did get some word that there are some new reprints coming. Number one, Paldea and Fates is going to be getting a reprint. So, guys, if you're after that Bubble Mew, guys, hold off a little bit now at this point in time because there might be some more opportunity and some cost drop on that. Number one. Number two, we do know that Paldea Evolved is getting a small reprint. Now, I shouldn't say small. We don't know. Once again, no numbers have been put out there, availability, any of that stuff has been put out in these particular sets. We just know that currently that's what we're looking at. And once again, we don't even have a time frame at this point in time that I have seen for when those reprints are going to be coming out. But we do know from distribution at this point in time that now Paldea Evolved and Paldea Fates are both going to be getting a reprint here in the near future. So reprints are coming, guys. We're seeing some changes when it comes down to that in the market. The real question is that reprints are coming. Is it going to be enough? That's going to be the real question. That's what the title of this is what do we got to see in order to see a change right now in the current market and this drive that we are currently seeing in the Pokemon market? Is this going to be enough? Is Pokemon going to commit enough at this point in time to actually change anything in the current Pokemon market? And that's going to be yet to be seen. Temporal Forces, we just got that reprint that kind of rolled out a little bit here. We do have it available again on Pokemon Center. We do have availability of it, small availability of it on our distributor websites, are very short lived if you sit back and look at it. But right now, once again, very, very small, very, very light. And that kind of a light reprint is not going to change the landscape when it comes down to what's going to happen. Um, was it confirmed by distributors? Yes, yes. Paldea Evolved and Paldea Fates were both confirmed by distributor now. Temporal Forces has already gotten a reprint. It showed up on Pokemon Center and it's been available at our Southern Hobby had them, but I did not buy any Temporal Forces because they kind of locked that behind buying junk. And to be honest with you, with the current market, I was not going to buy junk. So basically, the only way I could get Temporal Forces was I get a case of Temporal Forces, a case of booster boxes of Temporal Forces. I needed to buy 20 of, or two, or what was it, 4 packs of those Battle Academies. It came out to 20 boxes of Battle Academies. And as we all know, those don't sell. So I wasn't going to buy something that had no chance of selling. If they would have done maybe even tins or something like that, I could have maybe worked with that. But with what they were offering, once again, I didn't take any of the booster boxes, but they were available. And they are, from what I could see, were still available as of right now. But once again, they're kind of locked behind buying junk that they can't sell at this point in time, and that's the only way that you're getting those particular products. So when it comes down to distribution, yes, we do know for sure now Surging Sparks is getting a reprint. That's been coming from distribution. We do know that Prismatic Evolutions is going to be getting an ETB reprint here in the near future. We do know that Twilight Masquerade is supposed to be getting a small one. Temporal Force has already hit the ground. Paldean Fates and I always get Paldean Fates and Paldea Evolved. We do know that all those ones are currently right now on the dockets for reprint. So those we do know have confirmations. Once again, though, is it going to be enough? That's going to be the real question. If we see these little ones like we saw with, you know, with Paldean Fates when it first came, or Paldea Evolved when it first had a reprint, if we get those little reprints and that's all that they're giving us, or that little bit amount, because Paldea Evolved getting a reprint at this point in time is actually kind of late. When you talk about normal succession for release on sets, and when we see reprint time frame windows, it's actually already kind of rolling by. Right now is actually when they should be getting it because it was released, I believe, in May of 2022 or 2023. So we're right at the end of the 2 year mark. So this would be the last run that you would see on that, which makes you question, are we going to see some for Obsidian Flames and Paradox Rift? Is this going to be like Sword and Shield, where sometimes they just kind of put some out there just to kind of put some out there to say that they tried? That we don't know. And realistically, we haven't seen numbers on any of them yet. That's just what we're hearing from distribution at this point in time. Southern Hobby and ACD are both saying that at this point in time, that we are currently seeing that come through, that we will be seeing those come through. So we are getting some reprint acknowledgments. we don't know any details of it. I wish I could. And like I said, what does it take to know? Are we going to know if it's going to be enough? And what's going to be enough, I think, is really going to be the question. I think a lot of people would like to see this just completely burnt to the ground. I would like to see a ton of product come out for a business aspect and for the actual just investment opportunities and things. I definitely would like to see a huge reprint. Do I think that that Pokemon could recover from a gigantic reprint? Yes, I think that there'd be no problem with it. Would it maybe safeguard the hobby to keep more people in it a little bit longer? Yes, people are becoming more and more frustrated every single week that they go to Walmart, that they go to Target, that they go to Best Buy, that they go to their normal stopping grounds to try and get product, and there's none available. So unless we start seeing some major changes, we are going to start losing that cohesion, and the FOMO's wearing out. And if we don't get cohesion of having product available for people that want to open product or want to chase or want to play, it's definitely going to continue to be a kind of an issue in the near future. So we definitely need to see some improvement when it comes down to that part of the Pokemon TCG as we keep moving forward. And if they could print, that'd be fantastic. The only thing that'd be good is if they do Journey together and kind of drop a huge amount of product at that point in time and kind of draw down that Journey together pricing, because that price of that set is actually kind of scaring me in a way. And I'm going to lay it out here, and I said it on the last live, I'll say it on this live. That set doesn't have very much to offer. I've said it. It could be a hot take. You can take it as a hot take if you want. In general, that set has no business being $200. I understand it's supposed to be like this gym challenge set. To me, it doesn't even really have that feel except for a few cards, realistically. It's there. I understand the concept. I see the concept in it. But in general, it really doesn't have the same feel as a lot of like the gym challenge cards and gym series cards that we are accustomed from the past. So yes, there is the gym feel to it. There's a gym challenge, gym hero feel to it. But right now, in my opinion, right now, I don't think that there's enough in that set to really justify the pricing of that particular set. So, like I said, you can go to Battle Partners. Battle Partners is a 1-for-1. This is a 1-for-1 set. We're getting Battle Partners in Japanese. We're getting Journey Together in English. And really, Lily's Clefairy EX is going to be your number one chase in there. The Iono, once again, I could see Lily's Clefairy is going to be your big chase. But does that justify these booster boxes going to $200 on release? This isn't like it's a little bit further down the line. This is on release. Is Iono's Billy Bolt EX going to be able to hold this thing together? Is Enzoark going to be these big chases that you're continually wanting to have in the set? I mean, there's Articuno, there's Reshiram. I think both of those might do fairly well in the near future. But right now, I just don't understand. I don't see this set holding $200. If there was a reprint, even if the next set was coming out, so let's just say we get to the Team Rocket set and the Team Rocket set was announced and everything was starting to move that direction. If this set got a reprint, this could be, in my opinion, right down there with like Battle Styles and Chilling Reign. It could fall really, really hard. So I get really hesitant for anybody in the market right now looking at getting these things and really starting to potentially think of this as an investment. There is opportunity. It could happen. Granted, sometimes I feel sometimes I get a little bit disconnected with the newer people in this market. I understand that as you get older, you start to lose cohesion and start to lose some of that feeling of where you are because you kind of get stuck on what you like. But in general, when you look at the set, and if everybody else in chat has looked at this set, actually gone through and looked at what's inside of Battle Partners, and then go see what we're going to get in Journey Together, I just don't see this being an overall $200 booster box long term. I think that this is just hype and FOMO really, really driving those prices up. Do I think it will hold those prices? I don't think so. I think the other thing is it's really driving a lot of hype on this particular set is going to be that booster box promo inside of there. That's another thing that I think a lot of people are really driving on when it comes down to that particular booster box, is you get that the card inside of the box as well. So you get the box topper that comes inside of that one, which is a new change as well when it comes down to a booster box. We haven't seen that for a long time here in the Pokemon TCG. So it's a really cool concept to bring back along with the Gym Hero, Gym Challenge style. But overall, it might be a hot take on my end, but I just don't see a reasoning on why that booster box or that this particular set will hold value that for the long term. So one big reprint on that one could be very detrimental, but we haven't heard anything about Journey Together getting reprints. Of course, we haven't even gotten to the main set release, so we're not going to. But overall, we are seeing some potential reprints coming here. Is there going to be enough reprinted is really what it's going to come down to. Is there going to be enough to satisfy the hunger of this current market? And is there going to be an opportunity for the futuristic side of this thing to really drive this market down and become more reasonable again? Get it back to more of that organic growth that we've been continuing to see for the last 3 years prior to now. So yeah, it'd be really good to see how this is going to lay out, how this is going to happen. Are we going to get enough product? Is it going to be enough? Is the hype too heavy still? Is it going to just feed some of these outside markets that are going to really cause issues to where scalpers are just going to buy this product and shoot it through like the sports cards market and things like that? So if it's too light, it can be very, very detrimental yet at this point in time. If the scalpers don't see it being an issue, if there isn't enough to really like stomp out that the scalpers, it's definitely going to continue to be an issue and it's going to continue to be a problem. They're going to clean off the shelves as soon as it hits. This is something like what we saw with like Vivid Voltage hitting its second wave. I don't know how many people are left on here from back in 2021 when that happened. Vivid Voltage in January had some more hit the shelf, like a second wave, they called it. When that second wave hit, it was gone. Like it got cleaned off faster than they were putting it on the shelf. And that was during the hype of things. And that's something that we could see. If these reprints aren't heavy enough, it's definitely something that we could see. I have yet to see any sleeve blisters of like Temporal Forces hit the shelves. We have a lot of like Surging Sparks that did just come back, but those might have just been in the warehouse for MJ Holding. So it's hard to tell a lot of times where the stuff is coming from and how it's going to go play out. But once again, interesting times. We're finally starting to get some news of reprints, which are great for this market. Is it going to be enough? That's going to be the number one question. Let me know in the chat, guys. You think that at this point in time, how big of a reprint do we need to see? Do we need to see like original, like first release size numbers? Or do you think half of that? Do you think that we need to see more than release numbers on some of these products to finally see like the fire being put down a little bit when it comes down to this current market, to try and drive some of these scalpers out of this market? That's really what we got to look at doing. That is what Pokemon should be doing at this point in time, and it's been very frustrating on a lot of fronts right now. You know, for the investment side, it's kind of frustrating because I really can't move anywhere right now, and I don't feel comfortable moving. Graded cards is the way I've been moving, but now elite times and graded cards is going up as well because now everybody's shifting to graded cards because they can't get packs. So the singles market is slowing because you can't get packs to be able to open in the singles market. So people are all shifting the grading, just like I kind of did. I was about 4 months ahead of everybody, but obviously everybody else is starting to shift that way because we're starting to see lead times change on that as well. So there's always this trickle down. I heard tag is now reducing the number that you can submit in per month or per time, whatever it is. They've reduced that down. Someone told me 25. I haven't found I don't have a tag account, so I don't really know for sure. But one of my lives, someone told me for when we were ripping last night, said that they had limited it down to 20 cards max per order through tag. So even tags getting reduced. Could we see that reduction in submissions or shutdown of PSA again if this gets out of control again because of the market? Absolutely. It's something that could happen again. Do I think that PSA is more revved up and ready for it if it were to happen? Yeah, I think that PSA is more ready. You know, they've got the readiness and the capability more than what they did in 2020 and 2021 to handle that flow that may come in because of this. So I think the PSA is in a good place for that. Once again, if PK can talk to the CEO of PSA again, I think that'd be a great question to ask him. Is could he do that? You know, since he seems to have a connection to talk to him, that would be one question I would really love to know. Is if this were to return to like 2020, 2021, early 2021 numbers, could we see that actually happen? Could we see PSA shut down? Or are they equipped enough now and set up right to be able to handle that load? And could it be bigger than 2020, 21? It could be. There's been a lot of people that have not left this hobby yet that have enjoyed it. And especially my age and in that like 25 to 30 or 25 to 40-year-old range, there are a lot of people sitting in that window that have not left and enjoy this hobby. And they don't have any intention of leaving. So they just kind of keep morphing and adjusting to what's happening to enjoy the hobby in whichever way they want. But that's definitely something that is going to continue to move forward and be really interesting to see how this is going to roll out. I'm going to look through here real quick because I did ask a question. I'm going to go through and Zard Nation just put on here first release size. We need people to stay in the hobby at an affordable price. And I do agree with that. That's one of my biggest concerns that I'm starting to see is people that I talk to, just, newer families and stuff at like trading nights and stuff that I go to, even on our Poke play nights, we've been seeing a lot of people starting to reduce because they're becoming semi-frustrated with the fact that their kids can't get packs. And their kids are getting bored. Once again, if you want to keep this hobby healthy, you have to keep that next generation engaged. And when the 8, 9, 10, all the way up to 15-year-olds start disengaging because, number one, it's becoming too expensive, and number two, they can't get packs to have fun and maybe build their decks with their own packs or to just have fun opening packs with their friends, it's going to start causing an issue when it comes down to that. I'm going to move closer to my mic because a couple people have said it's been quiet. I haven't noticed it any quieter than normal on my when I watch it back, but I will move closer to the mic to try and increase that a little bit on that part. So I do apologize if it is quiet. So hopefully this helps a little bit on that. But yeah, we're starting to see some disengagement from some of the newer people. Some of the people that haven't been in here for a long period of time are now starting to disengage a little bit just because of pricing. They've gotten now 2 sets, it looks like 3 sets in a row that are going to literally be almost impossible to get at the store. It's going to be impossible to get it at MSRP. It's going to really right away drive up that price to a really high level, which is not healthy for the overall hobby itself to continue to do that, because you need to have people continually rolling in, because there's always a percentage leaving and there's always a percentage coming in. And what happens is if this continues, you're going to have a percentage leaving and you're not going to be able to draw a new percentage in, which then starts to create a decline in the hobby. And when you have a decline in the hobby, of course, that starts to make it so that some of the stuff that you've been investing in, some of the products that you have as your collection that you are having as a value collection, that you're trying to actually have monetary value in those particular products, can become stagnated because there isn't that market to sell to in the future, which is what we're definitely looking for. Whether you're looking at a collection, a value collection that you want to be able to use, as some people like tell me they want to use it as a retirement fund. They're buying PSA cards and things that they enjoy, but they're always planning on being able to sell those in the future. If we start to stagnate that market, we're not bringing new people in for the people that are leaving, we start to lose that market cap as well. That market cap starts to drop because there isn't as many people able to buy or willing to buy in the hobby any longer. So it's definitely something we need to be concerned about. We need to see a large enough reprint, and that's like I said, this whole thing is all coming back to, is it going to be enough? That is the real question. A first release size would definitely be a good thing on some of the sets. Surging Sparks, I think that'd be great. Prismatic all day. Prismatic would have no problem handling that. Even some of the sets like Twilight Masquerade, I could see doing fairly well with like a 50% of release. Even Paldean Fates, even going down to, Temporal Forces, Paldean Fates, and Stellar Crown. If you did a 50% mark or a 50% print on those, and did a 100% print on Surging Sparks, Prismatic, I think all day you'd have no problem resaturating this market to the point where you wouldn't be able to go to the stores and clean off the shelves and make that markup that you need in order to be profitable. And that's going to be the real factor that we need to see to have enough to be able to change this market currently. And Pokemon International is the only one that can do this at this point. I don't care who is around in the market right now. I don't care who you want to put blame on for causing this issue. At the end of the day, it's all Pokemon International's fault at this point in time. We have a demand. They have the keys to the printer, and they could print the demand that is out there for what's currently asked for, and they do not do it. They are not taking that opportunity. So to sit there and put blame on scalpers, to put blame on going all the way through, going through scalpers to streamers to investors to all the places that people pointed their finger, number one is Pokemon International. If they don't turn that key on and produce the product that is in demand, it does not matter anywhere else. That will always be the issue. They have the key to kill anything and bring everything back into moderation. When or if they do is 100% up to them. So could this market handle a major reprint? If they were to do 100% of the first run on every single set since Paradox Rift forward, would it be one of those things that would completely devastate the market? No. You could do Pokemon 151. Throw that in there too. Just do a full reprint on that set as well. It really would be a complete disaster for the market for probably a year. So then everybody will be sitting there flopping and freaking out because there's no money. All the investment people are going to go, oh my God, you're going to die. There's nothing left. Run, get out of Pokemon. Rudy's going to put Pokemon next to a toilet again and say it's all junk and crap, so just put it in the bathroom where it belongs. We're going to see all the videos come back that we saw back in 2021 and 2022 where everybody's just flopping around scared that nothing's going to happen. But in about a year, it would probably correct and we would see the markets come back to an organic feel to it. There's enough people who want to open packs. There's enough streamers that enjoy opening packs. There's enough out there right now that they would disappear. We've seen it happen before. Look at Chilling Reign. Look at all these other stuff. These things would just absolutely be eaten up. It would take a year, but once again, if you're in it for investment, you're not looking for that quick flip, it doesn't matter if it takes a year. Who cares? You know, everybody that's in there for the investment side is going to buy it really cheap, and we're going to store it for a long period of time. We're going to release it when the market goes up, just like we've done with Battle Styles, Chilling Reign, Fusion Strike, Evolving Skies. All of it just got released back out. A lot of investors are still holding on to celebrations, right? Just because we are waiting for the 5-year anniversary. So we have the patience to do that. And investors are going to absorb a lot of that. Streamers are going to rip packs because people love entertainment. They love the chase, and that's going to chew through packs. It would just take time. It would take time to clear out the system and just clear the pipes and get everything all back up and running. And that is exactly what I feel that we need at this point in time. The question is whether or not Pokemon International has the gonads to actually pull that off. That's what it's going to come down to. Pokemon and International's got to pull their head out of their ass and start pushing that go button. And we got to see that go baby go button to really, really push that product out the door. So not to be mean, not to get on my too much on the 18 plus range. I don't usually go too far into that, but in general, Pokemon needs to pull their head out of their ass, and we need to see product. Journey Together blew my mind that we got. Looks like we're going to get most of the allocations, so it looks like the couple individuals that did held back. I do have the booster boxes coming for you guys. Sounds like we're going to get those, so we're good there. I mean, everything looks like we're okay on the allocations for what we got. Mine's a small allocation compared to some big of them, but I mean, I didn't order a lot this time just because I wasn't secure as putting my money there. To be honest with you, I put in graded cards a little bit more just because of the fact that I didn't get so much in prismatic, and you know, it just wasn't worth my risk. So once again, really, really interesting to see what we're looking at. The Pokepalmer asked, what sets what? I guess I'm checking. So Journey Together, my allocation looks like it's good. I'm going to get the cases of booster boxes and the sleeve blisters that I was wanting for that. It looks like I'm going to get those. So if you did have money, if you did put in with me for trying to get the low price on prismatic, we're just going to roll, and you did roll it into Journey Together. It looks like we're going to be able to get that for you, so that we'll just take that for it. I'm not doing pre-orders ever again. Once again, you know, what I did wasn't really a pre-order, and I know some people would say it was, but I gave it to you guys under market. I mean, I literally was trying to just get everybody in like an investment group to get you guys product for prismatic because I knew how crazy it would be, but that kind of blew up as well, considering, but it worked out in my favor as well a little bit because now I don't have to put money down. With the current market, Southern Hobby and that have put me onto a little bit of a leniency on that, where now I don't have to pay until we actually get allocation. So it's a little bit better from my end as well. And if we do decide to try and do that again, at least that way I'm not committed to taking money up front. We can just do it when we get it in. The Pokepalmer just asks, what sets are getting reprinted? I've heard 5 sets now, LOL. So I think there's 5, because there's Prismatic Evolutions is getting an ETB reprint. Surging Sparks is getting a reprint. We have Twilight Masquerade is getting a reprint. We have Temporal Forces is already hit the ground. The reprint has already been released. Pokemon Center now has booster boxes of Temporal Forces, and we can get those through our distributors as well. We have Paldean Fates has been announced for a reprint, so we do know we're getting a Paldean Fates reprint now. And we also have a Paldea Evolved reprint coming. So 6. There's 6 different sets right now that we know that there's going to be reprints coming. Sorry, I'm trying to keep water. I was sick last week and in my throat, my voice was gone. So it gets kind of scratchy after I keep talking for a little bit. So right now there's 5 sets that we know of. And Twilight is the one. I shouldn't say Twilight because I've heard Twilight's coming, but I haven't actually gotten that from a distributor. So 5 of them that I know of have been distributor confirmed. Twilight Masquerade is the only one that I have not heard for sure from a distributor at this point in time. So let me just clarify that. And like I said, I'm hoping for a massive reprint. I really am. I mean, if they were to really, really plow us full of a bunch of reprints, it really wouldn't be a big problem at this point in time. My fear is that they do a light reprint, and it's just going to stoke that fire even more. And that's my biggest fear is that if they do a light reprint and they don't put enough out there at this point in time, that the scalpers are just going to clean it off the shelves. The sports card guys are going to grab it right from distributors, and we're not going to have the opportunity to be able to quelch this fire that's going currently, and people are just going to get mad. We're going to start to see a loss in retention in the hobby, which is not what we want to see at this point in time. We want to see a strong retention and a strong backing when it comes down to how we perform here in the near future. So once again, I'm really hoping that we see decent reprints, at least 50% of original releases for all of those sets. I think would be fantastic, and it would really, really help. I would love to see a full reprint of Surging Sparks, and I would love to see a full reprint of Prismatic. I think both of those would do very, very well in the near future. Card Vibe says, time to load up on Paldea coming up, hopefully. Yes. But Paldea already got a small reprint. Are they just going to do another reprint of that where it was barely a blip in the market? You didn't even know it really happened. That's the bigger concern. If we see those kind of reprints, we're going to have problems, and I don't want to see that. All right, guys. Well, there's my rant for the first 26 minutes here. Once again, the real question is going to come down to, are we going to get enough? That's the number one question I think everybody has to be looking at right now is, are we going to get enough of a reprint to really change this market? We got to get scalpers out. We got Pokemon International is the one with the keys. They're the only ones that can really change what's happening at this point in time, and it's up to them. We need to see the product. We got to get the product on the trucks. We got to get the products on the shelves, and we have to start changing this atmosphere because we are going to start losing retention. And I don't want to see a loss of retention. I'm seeing some young people like 8 to 10 years old, up to 12 even in our league nights, that are now starting to say, I'm losing interest because I can't open packs. And I don't want to hear that. That's not something that we want to hear. But, it's not much that we can do. I mean, I could pull my full inventory, and it's really not a ton compared to what we really need to see in this particular market. All right, guys, so I'm going to go through the chat and welcome everybody. Once again, we always run through about the first 20 to 30 minutes here with a rant for you guys. So that's what my rant is tonight, is talking about what reprints we're seeing and is it going to be enough? That's a real question we have to be asking right now at this point in time. I'm going to go down the chat and welcome in everybody, and then we'll go through questions as you guys come in. So I see some new people that I haven't seen in here for at least a while. So the one thing that we have changed is that I do about a 20 to 30 minute rant at the beginning, and then we go into the comments and we start working through the questions and start talking about what's happening and that you guys have going on right now. So right now we got Hitus in here. Thank you so much for joining. And once again, Hitus is one of our members. Once again, greatly appreciated to have you on board as a member. And I am going to put this in right now. The plug is going to be that this year my goal is to try and get 30 members of the channel. The reason being is number one, I want to see if I can get a cup of coffee free every day of the month. That's really my selfish endeavor that I have right now, and I'm not afraid to say it. So if you would like to help me out, jump in on the emoji one, and the $2.99, when I get the money back out of it, it covers a cup of coffee for me at work, which is fantastic, and helps me out a little bit on that with the price of everything going up. So thank you. If you guys would be interested in joining that membership, be fantastic, and thank you so much for if you do. Antonio, thank you so much for joining. Card Vibe, once again, greatly appreciated to have you in here. We got Zard Nation, Gimbo Slice, how you doing, buddy? Hopefully you're doing well right now. And we go down through the list here. We got the Pokey Plumber in here. We got Headphones Royale, welcome on in as well. Thank you so much. We got Horizon in here tonight. And let's see, I think that's everybody I've seen in the chat so far. So we're going to go up at the beginning. Yeah, Antonio already said that was distributor confirmed. The only one is Twilight Masquerade is not distributor confirmed at this point in time. All the rest of them are either A, actively being released on reprint, or B, they are confirmed reprints from distributor at this point in time. Card Vibe, I believe it's going to take more time and waves to reprint to really put a dent in the market prices. I do agree with that. It really comes down to how heavy we go. Antonio, my fiance, told me she walked in a store that was selling Prismatic Evolutions ETBs for $170 and other overpriced items. She was not sure, so she asked me. Yeah, and my local LGS right now has got Prismatic, but they've made it clear that they just want them on the shelf and they're selling them at $140. So if you want to buy them, they're out there, but you're going to pay for them at this point in time. And their defenses too, that they tried to get some back for some people and they ended up paying $100 an ETB for them. So once again, when you talk about markup and everything else, tax markup and all the other fun stuff, not far off for a markup on those. I know that they're taking a risk as well, that if a reprint does come and they do get a plentiful amount of ETBs, that they could be stuck with that as well. And they made it clear they bought them off the secondary market at 100. I think they said when they were shipped they were $105 in ETB, and they're selling them at 140. Card vibe. People are blindly buying Journey Together or really anything hoping to flip. They'll learn. Yeah. And that's my point is. Might be a hot take. I mean, maybe there's somebody out there that completely is seeing something in that set that I'm not. But in general, it's not that great of a set overall. I mean, playability, there's some playable things in there. I see some opportunity for the playability side. But in general, I'm just not, I'm not overly impressed with the set itself. There's really not very many like old or middle ground fan favorite. I mean, Reshiram is probably your middle ground fan favorite. You've got Articuno, of course, sitting in there. That's got a really nice SR inside of there, or AR, Illustrated Rare in that set. Lily is, of course, coming back from Sun and Moon. So the Lily card is definitely a really popular card from Sun and Moon. But, I mean, Hop and Zacian, really not that big of a deal. And Zoark, both of them, not really huge fan favorite Pokemon. Iono is another one that's a newer one from Scarlet and Violet that's holding its own. But, like I said, I mean, I'm just going through the card list right now, and realistically, there's not a lot of cards in here that are like, oh my god, I must have this card. I mean, it doesn't have that pop to it that I was really hoping for when it came down to this particular set. I was hoping for a little bit more oomph out of this gym challenge set. I was really hoping for possibly some better opportunity for cards. They could have really done some different cards in here and had some really good sets for the gym challenge, and we just didn't get it. So I think people are just blindly buying into it because they keep hearing on all these investment channels and all these Pokemon channels that allocations are dropped, that, the investments are huge. If you can get this at release, there's all the different things. And I think that there's a lot of people just blindly buying in again. It feels a lot like 2021, late 2020, early 2021, where people are just blindly buying into the next thing. Like they just had money in here. Take my money. Let's keep rolling this. It's like they're gambling at the gambling table and not really looking at what their numbers are picking or how they're picking them. They're just literally just throwing money at the table. And they keep hearing that there's opportunity and that there's investment and that the prices are going to go up and that this market's crazy, it's on fire, and it keeps creating this fire. And somebody at some point in time, just like we saw in 2021, is going to get burned. And it's only a matter of time before this thing does hit a wall. It's going to take a massive reprint, or it's going to take a lot of people just tired of dealing with it, with not getting product. It's going to cause this thing to finally drop. So we'll see. Reprints are really going to be telling us on how this is going to go, and if they can. My only worry is that they do like a stagnated release on these reprints. So they release Paldea Evolved, next month, and then they wait a following month and they release Surging Sparks, and they wait another month and then they release, where it's just kind of trickled into the market. That's not going to help either. We really need it to just come, like pick April and just go, boom, there it is. There is everything that we're giving you in April, May. You just slam it in there and kill it. Put the halt on it right there and get it back to normalized to an organic growth. That's what we need. Zard Nation says, I think it would just be a longer hold for sealed. It won't be able to buy and flip for a quick dollar. Exactly. That's exactly what we need to get back to is that if you want to be an investor, you hold for a long period of time. Get these flippers and scalpers out of here. Push them. It's always nice to be able to find them weird items that you can do that with. That was always the hunt. Right now, the hunt is just to try and find anything again. And to be honest with you, in 2020, 2021, I was a little bit more willing to do it. Now, I just don't care enough to try. It is what it is. And I'm not going to sit there and try and get into a fist fight over an ETB of prismatic evolutions. It just isn't worth it any longer. Gimbo Slice says, I don't get Journey Together mid-set, but I don't see how it's worth 200. I don't either. And once again, that's the same concept. I don't see it. I'm with you, Gimbo. I'm with you, Card Vibe. I don't see it. It's just not there for me. I wouldn't spend $200 on that booster box right on release. Possibly, if it was like Vivid Voltage or Battle Styles 4 years after release and it was crossing $200, it wouldn't surprise me. But the fact that it's doing it right now on release is absolutely insane. Antonio, don't think it will fall off till maybe early next year or pick up for the next anniversary. That's the problem is that so I'm going to give you another hot take when it comes down to this. I was thinking about doing a video on this, but I'm going to do it right here. I'm going to do a hot take on here. And my hot take is that if Pokemon International does not reprint, the 30th anniversary is going to flop. And I'm going to tell you why. People are going to be gone. People are not going to be here any longer. People that are the real drivers for things, for purchasing things and really chasing things, are going to slowly disappear out of this market. And by the time we get to the 30th anniversary, this market is going to be cut by 25 to 30%. Just because there's a lot of people that don't want to be in it, that don't want to fight. They want to open packs, they want to enjoy opening packs, and they want to pay MSRP for packs or less. And if you cannot feed that need, if you cannot get this stuff down to a reasonable price for people, and they have to sit there and fight people to try and get something off the shelf at Target, Walmart, wherever, when the release day comes or when the restock comes, they are going to stop. And they are going to go find something else that gets that need. And if we don't see something change here soon, by the time we get to that anniversary, it's going to be, I'm not going to say it's going to flop. Let me change that. It's not going to flop. It's going to be very, very disappointing and slow. It's not going to be the excitement that Pokemon's expecting, and it's not going to be the excitement that some of these content creators like Leon Hart and all these people really push, that it's going to be this big, oh my God, go buy everything. It's because everybody's going to be sick and tired of trying to fight for stuff. So if you can get this to normalize, come back down, everything becomes reasonable, and then the next celebration set comes out at the 30th anniversary, people will go, and it'll be very good. But if people are fighting all the way up to that point, they're nobody's going to fight anymore. The fight's going to be done, and it's going to hurt the market overall. Let's see. Heidi says, personally, I like Journey Together, but $200 a drop, I'll wait or be okay with passing on it. Yep, that's exactly it. Gimbo Slice, I haven't been able to buy anything in a month. Not faster than the bots. No, it's impossible. I've kind of just given up on trying to beat bots anymore. It is what it is. I've got my business stuff that you can see behind me, and I'm just kind of rolling through it. Some of the stuff I should pull out because it's long-term hold stuff, that I've got. But realistically, I'm just planning on it is what it is. I'll wait until the market comes back and there's ton. My hope is that the bots get bit when they get a ton of reprints, and all them reprints, the bots buy everything trying to keep ahead of the reprint. And these guys get a massive bill because they bought all this stuff off of all these sites, and it's everywhere. And then the market drops right behind it. That's kind of what I'm hoping happens with these people with bots is that they get bit. Because I've seen that happen too, where they set up these bots to buy everything that comes up as soon as it comes up. And all of a sudden they buy stuff on a massive reprint, and yeah, then they're buried in product. They don't know what to do with it all. So we can hope, right? We can hope that can happen in this time. Let's see. Zard Nation. Yep. So I already answered that one. Headphones. What's up, peeps? How you doing? Gonna go through Horizon. What set is being reprinted? He means, I think. Yep. So we answered that one. I hope we get a massive reprint. Got through that. Poke Plumber. Got that one. Horizon. So here we go. We're back to Horizon. He said, I'm going to be honest. I've stopped collecting Pokemon for now. The high prices, limited availability, and bots everywhere have driven me away. And that's very common. And that's where I'm talking about when it comes down to that hot print, or my hot take about the next anniversary set. People are going to be so dead to trying to get this product that I got a feeling some of it may sit for a long period of time because people are just going to be like, whatever. The bots are going to get it. The scalpers are going to get it. I don't care. Do what you want. I'll maybe walk into Walmart and see if I can buy one or two of them, but I'm not going to sit here and get in the middle of these scuffles, or I'm not going to sit here and try and beat bots to buy this stuff. People are just going to be dead inside when it comes down to getting this stuff. And that's when people start to leave the hobby. Let's just be 100% honest. If you don't enjoy it anymore and it becomes a hassle rather than it being fun, and it's no longer a hobby and you have to fight for people to get what you want, you're not going to do it for very long. Nobody would. I wouldn't do it. I mean, I'm not doing it right now. I'm right with Horizon. As big as I am in Pokemon, as much as I do in Horizon, I'm literally going through, like, literally I am working through like stacks of cards, looking for gradable cards, looking for singles I can sell. I'm just kind of internally, I mean, I've got, so this was the next bin. I'm working through these next to see what's gradable and what's not, you know, kind of working through trying to find out what we have that we can do stuff with. And realistically, I'm not trying to chase outside the house. Like the sleeve blisters, I was able to get some of them from my local LCS. The distributor was there and I got some from him to keep my business going. I'm keeping the prices a little high. I'm trying to reduce the, as much as I hate to say that, I'm trying to reduce the sales a little bit. I'm selling on eBay more again, so we're shifting to eBay. We're doing all these things that we're shifting things around and have been for the last couple months, and doing more internal. I can do more internal work with just getting things graded, going through stacks of cards that I have that I really have just been, I want to grade this, maybe, possibly, threw it in the box because things were busy on the, you know, we had enough stuff to keep the streaming going and all that going really well. And so we just did that. And that's how we work. So, talking about streaming, I'm going to take one more second to break for a minute here. When it comes down to that, that's what we're doing. Anyways, I'm not buying much outside of the home, but going to live streaming, I made a mistake and it actually worked out fairly well. So maybe we'll do it more. Is I actually live streamed like my TikTok and drip shop on YouTube as well. So I was on 3 locations at the same time, and it was actually a lot of fun. So I didn't realize I was live on YouTube. So anybody that was coming on like talking or wanting to interact with me, I do apologize because I didn't even have the chat up. I didn't know it did it until after, like, later that night. I went on to my Discord and saw that there was a big exclamation point that it went live. So I do apologize if anybody came on and tried to interact and I was like ignoring you. It wasn't that I was ignoring you. I just didn't know that it was live. So let me know though in the comments or the chat, would you be interested in me doing that and streaming it here on YouTube? It was an accident, but it seemed like some people really did enjoy that. And then we could interact too that way as well. So we can interact on the YouTube side and have multi-stream. It works. It's just a matter of pulling up a chat window and we could do it. And in the description, I could put down a link. Like I said, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to be the cheapest guy out there when it comes to streaming, but packs, because I don't care if it's a little bit slower than normal. But let me know in the chat or in the comments if you guys are interested in that. I've never really thought about doing it on YouTube, but I did have a couple of people that messaged me afterwards that were like, hey, it was cool that you were live streaming and opening packs the other night, you know, and then they actually bought some packs for me during that. I didn't realize it, so but I do apologize. But yeah, kind of an interesting little segue, and let me know if you guys are interested in that here. I mean, I've just kind of left it out of here because I've always kind of kept YouTube like business and talking about business and talking about the market and talking about investment. And I've always just had my fun with the business streaming side of things on TikTok and now Drip Sales Live, and kind of kept those two like separate entities just because I've just wanted to keep that like line that it doesn't look like I'm shilling to try and drive you to buy my product. That's not what I'm trying to do. I've always tried to just keep that wall, that, you know, break where if you find me on one of them and you join, I'm not going to complain, and I enjoy the conversations for the people that do. But I don't necessarily, I've never really thought of combining the two and going that route. But let me know what you guys think about that. Also, I see that there is 23 people watching right now. If you could hit that like button and help out the stream a little bit as well with the likes too, please, if you get a second. All right, moving back, moving back into off my. Now that I've derailed, let me come back. Gimbo says here, I just feel like a fool because all these sets were dirt cheap not even a year ago. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. Yeah. And I mean, we talked about that. We've all talked about that, how some of these sets are really cheap. They always end up being really slow, and then they gain traction as time goes on. And, we could sit back there. And once again, I always tell people, and I've told everybody in videos, I've told people in lives, don't look back and regret. I mean, we get in these situations where now, if you could have bought a bunch of that product and you could have ended up like some other sets where they sat for 5 years with no gain, you could have gotten an evolution set, right? Evolutions everybody uses as a gold standard of investing, but realistically, it's sat for almost 4.5 years without going up at all. It sat at $79 for 4 years. And the only reason it actually went up in price was because of another boom. That's what really took it. Roaring Skies, another version of that. So a lot of the original Sun and Moon sets, even a lot of the original XY sets, were very, very slow. They didn't do very well, right? And sometimes it takes an event, and you can't predict these Black Swan events. You just can't. We talked about that in a video. You can't predict Black Swan events. You don't know what the catalyst is going to be. You can't predict all the different moving parts that are happening in the hobby. And you could have bought in a ton into this stuff and not necessarily been able to take advantage of this market. You might have gotten trapped in some places because of the fact that you did that. And then you're trying to decide, do I want to try and farm losses rather than farm wins? Yes, this time it would have worked out again. It would have worked out very well to buy anything right now, and you would have done well. But that doesn't necessarily mean that that's going to be an overall win, or that that's always going to work that way. Black Swan events can be unpredictable. We don't know how many times it's going to happen, when it's going to happen, how often it's going to happen. And that's really the problem sometimes when we're talking about investing into the Pokemon TCG. How do you invest properly? What is the things? And for me, buying into these Black Swan events or planning on these Black Swan events is not as smart as just doing standard investment, buying like I've been doing, buying 1 or 2 cases of each set, just putting them away, just waiting, and just planning on the wait. Plan on 5, 10 year wait, and 5, 7 year wait, whatever you can handle, and just wait. Because typically, if you wait in this hobby, it does gain value over time. We do see gains and organic gains on this product rather than this forced hype and FOMO push that we are seeing right now. So trying to plan on the Black Swan event and capitalizing on that, and then looking back going, I could have capitalized on that. Yeah, I mean, anybody could do that. I mean, we could all sit there and kick ourselves in the butt. I could have gone and taken a lot more money that I've stashed away from the last few years, and instead of going and paying off, everything that we own, so now all my stuff is paid off. I have no debt right now because of Pokemon in the last 2 years. None. I paid off my last little home improvement loan. That's all paid off. I mean, I've literally paid off everything on this hobby. And to sit there, though, and say, well, I could have kept that money back, and I could have bought all of these booster boxes. I could have bought 10, 20 times more of each one of these booster boxes and put them on the shelf and waited for this next Black Swan event and then made all this money more. But there again, the Black Swan event may never happen. It may happen 10 years down the line, and I could have paid off a loan, or like my home improvement loan, home equity loan. That's what I'm trying to think what it was. Home equity loan. I could have paid off my home equity loan, saved interest and saved payments, and been able to capitalize on it a little bit later down the road. So don't plan on the Black Swan event to try and make these calls. Don't look back and sit there and say, I shoulda, woulda, coulda, like you're saying right now. You need to look at it going, you made good judgment calls. You analyzed the market for what it was and what it would have done organically, and you decided not to buy, Scarlet and Violet base set, because if it didn't get this Black Swan event, and organic growth says that set was going to take a long time to get traction and actually have value. Same thing with Paradox Rift. Same thing with Obsidian Flames. You could make that analysis on each one of those and say, yes, there was time at that point in time. There wasn't a rush. And things change really rapidly just due to the fact that, people got excited again. People got hype and FOMO, but you don't know when it's going to happen. So to try and base your analysis on that, we all could say that we could have, would have, should have, and gone back and bought a bunch more stuff. But realistically, you probably did exactly what you were supposed to do at that point in the market. Stay consistent, buy the best price stuff that you can, and just slowly keep moving that product and moving the prices up, and live and riding the organic wave. And then if you are planning on riding the organic wave, when the Black Swan event happens, you get a really accelerated boost. That's exactly what happened to me in 2019 going into 2020. I started investing in 2019 Yes, I said that back then too. I coulda, woulda, and shoulda bought more, but I didn't because it was doing well and I was just buying it for the long-term hold. 2020 happened. I sold everything, took that money and bought more stuff back after the boom when the prices dropped really heavy. But there again, I took what I had, I used it in the boom. You should be selling now. Right now, if you guys are not, I've been selling. You're crazy not to sell into this market. Don't hold on to all this stuff. I'm whittling everything down to one case because why not? Why not whittle it down to one case? If I want to hold something long term, fine. But realistically, you should be trying to whittle down right now, taking this money at this point in time, building your banks back up, saving this money in a bank account if you want, paying off some high interest loans, paying off your interest, doing all the things that you should be doing, and then preparing for the next push later on. So, and preparing for the next purchase later on. When these reprints come, we're going to be in purchase city again to be able to get back our investments and take that money and take that 15, 20, 30, 100% gain and going and buying the booster box back at 50%. You still capitalize on 40 to 50% gain on those boxes right now. And you'll do well. You'll do fantastic futuristically. Let me see here. So we're going to go down. We've got Zard Nation. Are you planning to purchase Temporal? I'm not a huge fan of the set yet. I still think the long-term hold should pay off. Thoughts? I think Temporal will do fairly well long-term. Personally, for me, it just has not grown on myself either. It's been one of them sets that just, I don't enjoy the Paradox Pokemon in there. So like I've said, I like Paradox Rift better. Paradox Rift to me makes more sense than Temporal Forces when it comes down to the ideology of Pokemon. If you take or Glade and make it Iron Valiant, it makes more sense. If you take Salamence and make it Roaring Moon, it makes more sense. A lot of those inside of Paradox Rift make more sense to me when it comes down to Future Ancient. I know some people sit there and say, well, it's Paradox, so it can be whatever you want. And okay, you can go that route too if you want. But if that's the case, why do you call it Future and Ancient? So, I mean, if you're going to do that, then call them Paradox or, Paradox whatever, something else. Don't call them Future and Ancient because then it makes it sound like you're pulling a Pokemon for like Roaring Moon is the predecessor to Salamence, or Iron Valiant is the futuristic version of Glade as time and evolution happens on these Pokemon. These are the things that you really need to be considering when you're looking at these particular sets. I'm trying to think, is there any more in that set that are really Future Ancient? I'm looking at the set right now, and I don't think so. I think those are the only two in Paradox, which is maybe why I like, Iron Moth too. Iron Moth, same thing. Could you see Volcarona becoming Iron Moth futuristically? Yeah, I think it's a very good rendition of a future evolution of a Pokemon. Slitherwing, going back in past, seeing the original. So Slitherwing, I always find that line very, very interesting. And I really find it very, 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 very cool lineup. If you actually look at it, Slitherwing is the ancient. You got Volcarona, which is your present. And then you go to your Iron Moth, which is then going to be your future version. So you got all three versions of that particular Pokemon, which I think is a really cool one that they did on that point. So, yeah, I think that that's going to gain traction. Am I buying Temporal Forces? No, because you got to buy crap to get it. I haven't looked on the open market to see if the prices have come down on Temporal at this point in time, but I just can't grow. Personally, I've said it before. I'm just not growing on the, Raging Bolt and Iron Crown. Iron Crown, I guess I could get behind a little bit, but Gouging Fire, not a really. I'm just not growing on them. Walking Wake isn't growing on me at all at this point in time. And maybe that'll change in the future, but currently it's just not my cup of tea, and it just has not grown on me yet. So with it not growing on me at this point in time, I think it'll have its place, but I don't think it's going to be as strong as people are hoping it will be on those particular ones. So, but that's just like I said, might be a hot take as well, but that's just my feelings on it. I think it'll do well. Long term, I think it'll pay off. I think it'll be just fine if you bought it right now on a reprint and got it on a little bit lower price. Horizon, all my stores around get immediately scalped. Yeah. If I go to my store, so tomorrow at roughly 9:30, 10 o'clock, the MJ Holding person is going to be at the one in town here. And I'm going to be 100% honest. There's going to be 3 people sitting there. And I literally watched the one guy shove another guy into the wall to try and get a ETB of Prismatic Evolutions. And I am just not into it. They go through the sports cards now, and they go through the Pokemon, and they literally fight each other to try and get that stuff. And it's just not going to happen. I'm at the point in my life where I just don't want to get involved into it, and it's not worth my time to do it. So yes, it is definitely something that I see, and it's definitely something that is happening at most stores at this point in time. Not all, but most. Antonio, he says, you think it will? You think if they do something similar to Roaring Skies reprint, would it make a difference? I think it would. If they did a heavy one like that, I think it would probably take about a year to recover from that. It's not going to be as long term as Roaring Skies and Roaring Skies and Evolutions to recover. But I do still think that it would take some time to recover at this point. But they definitely killed those two sets on that reprint when it came down to it back in XY. Horizon GameStop's employees all tell me, oh, we had stuff, but they are gone in like 5 minutes. Yeah, and that's what I was told too, is that if I want something at GameStop, the guy told me when they're coming. He said our restock, our shipments usually come now. You need to be here when the door opens, probably at least 2 hours early, because there'll be 2 guys or 3 guys sitting here, and they will buy everything. He said they'll line up outside the store about 2-3 hours before they open the doors to try and get the product out of there. So he said, yeah, and that's where I sit there and say people are. So I was talking to my GameStop. Interesting enough, I was talking to my GameStop manager, and I showed him the video of the GameStop that was charging MSRP or charging market pricing for the products. And he said, to be 100% honest, he said it's a conversation that is going through GameStop. And the reason being is he said that line sitting out there 2.5 to 3 hours before they open is the reason why. Absolutely the reason why. He said people can get mad all they want, but if we're going to have people storm this building, jam through this door to try and clean off our shelves, we should charge market, and that way maybe we might slow them down a little bit. But he said it sucks. Same thing as like I've talked about here, though. If you can't get product and you're trying to slow it down, the sales, you have to get as close to market as you can, and it'd be a little bit over. Yep, and Antonio just put on here, GameStop has now put a limit on items as well. So our GameStop is down to a 2 now, and that's up to the manager as well. So a lot of times if the manager knows that people are a-holes, he'll just give them 2. But like for myself, I went in there, he already told me he would do more. He wouldn't have a problem giving more to the people that have just been continuous customers, but that 2 is really, really good to just stop all these scalpers from coming in. So yeah, they are putting a limit. Some of them are charging market price. Some are putting limits. They're all doing different things to try and combat this a little bit. It's just going to be what works best. Gimbal Slice Temporal seems to have very limited supply. I think it could potentially be a sleeper. Yeah, and it seems to be limited even after the reprint that came out. I know it's available on Pokemon. Well, it was. I haven't checked today. I checked 2 days ago, and it was still available on Pokemon Center. So I don't know how much. Once again, I kind of want to talk to that guy that can. There's a person that can actually go to the back code and see how many are available on Pokemon Center. So if I go to booster boxes, let me see if we got booster boxes still here. So Temporal Forces is still available on Pokemon Center right now. So you can get Temporal Forces right now on Pokemon Center. It is literally the only booster boxes that's available currently on there as well. So it is still up and up running on that point. So yeah, I mean, I wonder how many are available on there. Number 1, number 2. Yes, it could be a sleeper, but I think the distributors are holding on to quite a bit of it at this point in time, and they're putting up little gates to try and slow people. Like I said, I got to buy 2 cases of the 20 total boxes of Battle Academy in order to be able to get a case of Temporal Forces. And that's definitely going to slow people down from purchasing it, because what are you going to do with Battle Academy? You're going to pay $16 so you're going to pay $280 basically, because $320 for 20 Battle Academies that won't sell. You won't, right now they're not even selling. So there is no sales on them at that point in time. So yeah, it's going to be interesting to see if they hold that. Maybe if we get a massive reprint, that might loosen that up as well. Horizon even called Barnes and Noble, and they told me people show up immediately after boxes hit the floor. I'm not signing up for Poke Notify. Maybe that's the problem. It probably is. People are just knowing where things are going. Antonio, don't think trainer sets do that well overall. You know, Gym Challenge, Gym Hero really didn't do very well when it was released either. As funny as it sounds, it was very slow sets back in the day. Base set, Jungle, Fossil, very, very strong sets. Gym Challenge, Gym Hero, Team Rocket, gigantic set. Everybody loved Team Rocket, but nobody really got into Gym Series when it first came out. Now it's cool. Everybody wants it, but then again, it's WotC, it's old, so everybody enjoys it. Antonio, even the trainer gallery did not do that well. But recently, the singles have gone up for the trainer gallery. Yes, they have. I always liked the trainer gallery. I thought that was a good addition to put inside of a set, and I think they did that fairly well. But yeah, I mean, there was a lot of the easy ones to pull, which was good. It gave you that feel of getting something in that reverse slot. It gave a little bit more oomph to the sets and to the products when they came out. It made it a lot more fun for streamers and a lot more fun for kids that were looking for the enjoyment. And then there were the more difficult pulls, such as the Pikachu V, the V Maxes, all those with the black borders were a lot harder to pull, which made them a lot more fun. So I think they did a good job on the trainer galleries. But yeah, I mean, they're a little bit slower compared to a lot of other chase cards in the set. People are still after the alternate arts. They're always going to reign supreme over the trainer galleries, but people are growing on them, and I think there's some really good ones out there. Card vibe. I hope there's a connecting card to go along with Cynthia's guard chomp. That would be cool. That would be a really good one, card vibe. That's a really good point out on that one for sure. Horizon first got into the hobby during the Vivid Voltage craze. Got burned hard. Yeah, a lot of people did. It was really crazy. And, you know, honestly, that's why this channel started. And I'm kind of trying to keep up with that message, guys. You should be being very cautious at this point in time. It's not necessarily a time to jump in. Are there potential flips that you can do? Absolutely. But realistically, if you've been stocking products since 2022, 2021, now's the time to be selling. You should be selling into this market right now. You should be cleaning off your shelves as much as you can, as much as you're comfortable with. Keep what you really like and what you think will do really well, or keep minimum amounts of the stuff that you think will do very well, and use that capital when this reprint comes. When this wave comes and crushes everything, then go back and take that money and take 50% of that money and go buy everything back and more, because there's going to be that opportunity potentially here in the near future regardless. So yeah, right now is the time to definitely be selling into this market rather than buying into this market at this point in time. We got Hitus says, hot take. Kids are important for longevity of the hobby. We as Disney fans notice most park special events are tailored to adults. Slowly but surely, we notice Disney IP is not being recognized by kids. And that is true. And that's something I've preached on here a lot, that, you know, the kids are your future growth. If you can retain every generation, a hobby is only as good as its next generation. That's the truth. If you can retain the next generation, the hobby will survive. Look at baseball cards. Why is baseball cards stay successful? Because they continue to get the next generation to partake. They continue to grow the next generation of people. The next generation keeps baseball cards alive. A Charizard, a hollow first edition Charizard, is only going to be valuable as long as there's someone to buy it. Plain and simple. And if in 40 years you're planning on that being valuable, you have to have someone to buy that. Now, you might still have a lot of millennials, but in 40 years, I'm going to be 80 years old. Am I going to be necessarily buying a first edition Charizard with my retirement money at that point in time? Probably not, but you need the next generation to be there in order to maybe have the interest to do that, right? That's where the interest is going to come, and where your overall investments will pan out, is if you have that next generation. If you lose the next generation, if you drive all the next generation out, you're never going to have that market base to continue to grow. You're eventually going to stagnate yourself. So yes, that's not really a hot take. That is the truth. We have to keep the kids involved. You have to keep these 8, 10, 12, 14, 20-year-olds engaged into this market some way, somehow. And the product not being available for them and the product being very expensive is not going to tailor to that to help that growth. One of the main reasons. Yep, and that's exactly it. Professor Oak, welcome on in. Glad to have you here, and thank you so much for the channel membership as well. With the current market conditions, I've just been going through old 2010 to 2019 bulk and selling $2 to $3 common uncommons on eBay. You'd be really surprised what sells if you just list it. Oh, a ton sells. Binder POS, even though it ticks me off, I've twice now I've asked to cancel it, and I have not pulled the trigger on it because number one, they're not onboarding anybody right now. So if I make that decision, there is no go back. So then I will not be able to go back to Binder POS, which has been a big hesitation for me doing that. Number two, the other thing is Binder POS. It's amazing how much income you can get on there if you sit there and list all your cards. And if you just work even current bulk all the way back through Sun and Moon bulk, if you can get that stuff listed, it's amazing how much money and income you can actually get on bulk cards just randomly. And it's just one of those things that kind of happens in the background, just spontaneously all the time. And you don't realize it at the end of the month that, yeah, I've actually made decent money. And if you want to go and not use Binder POS, you can go down and just continually keep digging through your bulk and keep finding those $1 to $5 cards and just keep listing them over and over and over again. And yeah, you're absolutely right. It's a small little income that people just don't realize. And that's what I was showing earlier. I am currently working through just stacks of like these. We've got all these Illustrator rares, all these cards here that are just I'm slowly working through trying to find out, is there gradable cards? And it's another thing to keep digging through if you want. Just keep digging through all these things. I'm more isolating back in rather than buying stuff out. It's either selling or I'm isolating and going through what I have to try and see what kind of market is there available for that. Can I grade these things? Is there enough of a grading market to justify it now? Is there enough to go through these? And that's where it comes down to is that there's ways to still make profit and make things work. Dash, if my local card store takes trade-ins for 70% of market price, are they ripping me off? Super bad according to industry standards. Absolutely not. I only charge 70% as well. 100% hot take is that if you come to me with a card, I'm going to offer you 70% of market value. And I'll tell you that straight out. That's just industry standard. That is not super bad. That is right on course. That is right on par. Because you got to remember, whatever market value is, for me to resell that card, I'm going to lose 15% right away. So half of the 30% that we're keeping back on you is gone just for the fees and the ship it on TCG Player. And number two, we have to make markup, and that's only a 15% markup. Most industry standard is 15% to 20% markup on profitability on your card. So basically 70% is where you will be at 90%. I know some card places that will do 80%. The best I've ever seen is 80%, but the industry standard is typically 70. I've seen as low as 60. I've seen as high as 80. And the 80s are usually people that are absolutely looking for cards to grade, or they're specifically trying to build inventory. So they'll pay a little bit more if they're trying to build the inventory. If they already have a big inventory and it's already in the shelves and they're already full, they're going to offer you less and less. So yeah, no, that's pretty much the industry standard is going to be 70 plus or minus 10%. That's basically what I've seen and what most people do. And that's what I do myself. That's, I've had people contact me even locally wanting to buy cards, and then they, if you want to, they always want to do a TCG Player. Well, I want it for TCG Player price. Well, that's cool, but why don't you just sell it on TCG Player then? Why are you contacting me when you can just sell on TCG Player, right? It takes 10 minutes to make an account. It's not like it's hard to go list a couple cards on TCG Player, so go do it yourself. If you're coming to me, or you're coming to a card shop, or you're coming to a store, we need to make profit somewhere, and that's what's going to happen, and that's where you're seeing that dash. So basically, they are right on industry standards at 70%. Jacob, thank you so much for joining in. Just now joining. Good to see you again, Northwoods. Been a minute. What's been the lowdown? The reprints are going to be heavy and affect prices. Opinion, we don't know. That's the one thing. Yeah, we don't know. We don't know reprints. Temporal Forces so far has been lackluster. They're definitely holding things down a little bit on that. so you have to purchase other products to get it. So I don't know. It makes me concerned with temporal forces. The previous one with Paldea Evolved, was very, very weak. And affected the market for less than a day, and then it was right back to business as normal with that. So yeah, I really don't. We don't know. We don't know any numbers. We're hoping for really large quantities, but historically at this point in time, we haven't seen either no reprints or very, very weak reprints or restocks. Temporal Forces has hit the ground, and it's been very weak, in my opinion. I'm not seeing a ton of. I haven't seen any effect on the market yet, and overall, it's not really pushing as hard as I would hope to see. Pika Pika, how you doing, Pika Pika? Hopefully you're doing well, my friend. Steve Lopez, would you hold 151 ETBs and UPCs in this market or cash out now? I guess I really haven't gone back to do anything with them, so I'm going to say hold just because that's what I'm doing right now. I mean, I don't know how to explain it, but personally, right now, I'm just kind of sitting on 151. Anything I got 151 is kind of in lockdown, just because I've already kind of minimized that set to the point where I really don't want to go any lower. The UPCs, they're up to 320 $25 right now. So they are almost as much as the Celebrations UPCs at this point in time. Really, really crazy to think, but what's the Celebrations one? Because that was at about 375. So if I go to the Ultra Premium Collection right here, so they're up to 450 now. So, but it was catching up. So, and that's kind of interesting to me that they were actually getting pretty close to each other. Oh yeah, the Charizard one's gone up a ton too. Let's see here. Let's see. Huggle Monster, thank you so much for joining in. Yeah, no problem, Dash, and answering the questions. Absolutely no problem. That's what we're here for. We got. How's your day going from Huggle Monster? Doing good. I'm just getting ready to call our quits here, guys. We're already at quarter after, so I'm going to try and get out of here at quarter after. Got about 2 more minutes and a few more questions here. So once again, hit the like button. I see there's still about 19 people out there. 12 likes. Let's see if we can see a few more likes on this video. Greatly appreciate it. And also, I'm going to put in my plug before I get to the last couple questions here. Make sure you guys, if you could, to support the channel, hit that membership. I'm trying to get 30 people by the end of the year. Get a cup of coffee every day. That's what my goal is this year. Once again, I'm going to push that every single live because I am trying to get that built up a little bit. I've had a few people join in, which is greatly appreciated. And you can see in the membership, you also do get the cool emojis along with the axe shield for you guys. This is going to the Lumberjack and Northwoods theme. But we're going to get the last one's Pika Pika. Did you get prismatic booster bundles from Pokemon Center? I got some from distributor, and they are shipping out today. So I should have them here by the weekend. But I only got... So basically, I got 10. I didn't even get a case. There's 25 in a case, and I got 10. So, yeah, they were cut pretty... Everything. Prismatic is just cut so hard. We're getting bits and pieces of everything. So, yeah, they are shipping out. The Prismatic booster bundles are shipping out. I did put in a pre-order for 6. A case of the Prismatic UPCs. Whether or not I get 6, I have no idea. I'm just hoping to get 1 for my collection, to be 100% honest. That's just kind of my goal at this point in time. That prismatic one is going to be absolutely insane. Antonio said Charizard premium collections have gone up. Yes, they have. I think I already talked about that one, but the Charizard one has gone up a ton too. So if I go, what was that one up? I looked the other day and it was, yeah, it's almost up $300 too. $275 for that one. So for everybody that was back when we were sitting there talking about buying them things at like 90, 80, down to 75, sometimes there's coupons, you get them down to about $60 at that point. There was really a great opportunity, and now they're up to about 275. Even as massively printed as they were, they're already up to 275 as well. So definitely awesome to see the growth. These UPCs are just kind of a particular item that I enjoy them, and it's kind of nice because then I only have to buy usually 1 a year, sometimes 2 if GameStop does a promotional one. So it's a little bit more niched and a little bit more nicer to be able to do that versus trying to keep up. Originally, I was trying to buy one ETB of every set, and it just got to be so many ETBs that it got hard to keep up with. So it's kind of nice to be able to just buy one UPC or two UPCs a year, and you're done, right? You're literally buying one or two a year. You're actually paying less than the ETBs for the year, especially when you get one like this one back here, where you're getting two for each set. So like Battle Style, Shilling Rain, all had two. There's always that conundrum or that part that comes up as well. We've seen that in Scarlet and Violet a couple times as well. So yeah, it's definitely nice to just be able to buy one or two UPCs a year versus trying to buy all these ETBs and keep up. So it's definitely a good niche collector's market when it comes down to those products. Pika Pika, I think they're shipping out now. Yes, they are. They'll be shipping out here today. Today's Wednesday, so they should be shipping out today. I'll probably get my tracking number tomorrow. So they should have hit the road today so that I can have them for the weekend. Oh no, today's Tuesday. So tomorrow they are Wednesday. So Wednesday they'll ship out. Mine always hit the road Wednesday, and I usually get them on either Saturday or Monday. Steve Lopez, thank you for your input, Andy. You're very welcome, Steven. Thank you so much for the kind words. Like I said, we are at quarter after now, so we are going to go ahead and call it an evening. Once again, greatly appreciated. Let me know in the comments, or maybe I'll put a poll up as well on the community page, so watch that. I accidentally live streamed here because I'm using OBS now to live stream to Drip Shop Live and also TikTok. So I can just live stream here as well. So if you guys would like that and I could just keep 3 chats going, that'd be easy to do. So I'll put up a chat in the community here. I will be live tomorrow night. I don't know if I'll put it on YouTube or not. We'll see how it goes. I'll make the decision when we get a little bit closer to that. So let me know if you guys are interested in just hanging out, talking, or maybe buying some packs, ripping and shipping, whatever you guys want to do. I've just kind of kept that separation, but I'll leave it up to you guys as a community on what you want to do there. But otherwise, like I said, thank you everybody for joining. Great questions as always. Like I said, Professor Oak was late to the stream, and I had already talked about doing exactly what he's doing, and also doing with the grading thing. So that's definitely definitely something that will work. If you've been putting cards away, just not thinking about them, great time to go back and kind of look through them to see if there's value in those without getting out in the market trying to pay extravagant prices. So, Pika Pika, aren't you live streaming in YouTube? I don't rip and ship in YouTube. So Pika Pika, I've always kind of kept the two sides separated. So this has always been like the business talk, the market talk, the what's going on in Pokemon talking on YouTube. And I've always just I live stream every Wednesday, right now Wednesday, Thursday, and Sunday on TikTok and Drip Shop Live. So basically, I've had like going to there has been like my business for the ripping, shripping, streaming, that part of things. And this has always been the business side. I've always kind of just kept a straight line on that, and just kind of kept the two separated in a way. And I accidentally turned on YouTube for the live stream last night, so I did TikTok and YouTube and Drip Shop. Somehow I accidentally hit the switch, so it streamed on here, and I had people talking apparently, and I had sales that I didn't know about. So yeah, there was definitely some interesting things that I did not know was going on. I wasn't even watching because I didn't know what was happening. People messaged me afterwards that I wasn't talking, and they were asking if I got their orders, and I did, and I shipped them sealed. Because I do if you purchase from me, I give you the option to ship sealed too. Because if you want your product sealed, I'm just here to sell product. I really don't care if you want to rip or ship it or not. If you just want to sit down, talk, and buy stuff, yeah. No problem, Pika Pika. I just figured I'd clarify. So yeah, I'll be putting that up as a question for you guys too in the community. If you guys like that, let me know. I mean, if this is where you're more comfortable being, but you want to join in a live stream, have a chat, and talk, then that's absolutely fine. We can do that as well. I'll just make sure the chat's up if I know I'm doing it. So otherwise, guys, like I said, thank you everybody that's joined in. Once again, another Tuesday gone, another month gone. We're into March already, so spring is around the corner here in just another couple weeks. But otherwise, we will be back next Tuesday. My goal is every single Tuesday I will be here, and I will be live with you guys here on Northwoods TCG to discuss things that are going on in the market as things are happening. And of course, maybe some special lives as I've done already once this year to just keep up with the craziness that's continuing to happen. But otherwise, check out the community. I'll put up a quick poll for you guys on there and decide whether or not I want to stream my live here. And other than that, guys, make sure you guys hit that like button before you leave. Thank you, everybody that's joined us here tonight, as always. And we hope to see you next time.